Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about the Orlando Magic, looking at their offseason preview. They have about $9 million to spend in free agency. Their key free agents are Otto Porter and James Ennis, and they have the number 5 overall pick and the number 8 overall pick. Looking at how they got one of these picks was when they traded All-Star center Nikola Vucevic and Alfred Camino to the Bulls in exchange for Wendell Carter, Otto Porter, and what ended up being, I believe, the number 8 overall pick. The first round picks are for 2021 and 2023. The Magic also made a deal with the Denver Nuggets, sending Aaron Gordon out to Denver, getting back Gary Harris and R.J. Hampton, as well as a protected 2025 first round pick. So the Raptors, or not the Raptors, sorry, just made a video on the Raptors. The Magic boosting that draft capital, getting some chances for some really, really good players. We're going to be talking about more about the draft later. Right now, we're going to be looking at their young core, however, and like I said, with these trade deadline moves, they really set their direction for the future. They're going to be rebuilding, and they've got some really good pieces. Jonathan Isaac being probably the cornerstone of this franchise. We didn't get to see him play this year because of the torn ACL he suffered in the bubble, but he was playing phenomenally in the bubble. Wendell Carter Jr., another young piece that they got in that Vucevic trade. Cole Anthony, who was actually selected, I believe, with the 16th overall pick in last year's draft, has been a pretty good surprise. He actually balled out, played very, very well. When the next guy we're going to talk about here, Markelle Fultz, went down with an ACL tear. The Magic were actually 6-2 through 8 games with Markelle Fultz, and then everything, the train just came off the tracks. It was awful. Dwayne Bacon, he's also another good young piece of that core, coming over from the Charlotte Hornets, where he was a second-round pick. Never really clicked in Charlotte, but he's proven he could have a pretty big role for this Magic team. He can always go out and get you buckets. Mo Bamba, the number 5 pick a couple of years ago, has yet to really play much because of Vucevic being there, but he has still time to develop. R.J. Hampton has been an absolute steal, it seems, in that trade with Denver, and then Gary Harris also coming over in that trade with Denver. Still only 26 going on 27, so he's still a part of this young core, technically only 26. Looking at the stats from this year for this Orlando Magic team, I highlighted the guys that are still there just because so many people have left. You look at Vucevic is gone, that's 24.5 points. Evan Fournier, that's 20 points, he's gone. Terrence Ross is still there. He averages about 16 points per game as well as 3.5 rebounds. Aaron Gordon, 14.5 points. He's gone. Cole Anthony, in his rookie season, averaged 13, 5, and 4. Really good rookie season from him. Markelle Fultz, before he got hurt, 13, 5.5, and 3. Wendell Carter Jr., 12 points, 9 rebounds. R.J. Hampton, 11 points. And so, like I said, he's been a pretty good piece there. Dwayne Bacon, 11 points. Gary Harris, 10 points. Otto Porter, who is set to be a free agent, 8 points. James Ennis, another free agent. He's averaging 8.5 points. A guy that I forgot to mention, Chuma Okeke, who was almost a lottery pick 2 years ago, towards ACL in college, missed his entire rookie season. This year, he averaged about 8 points and 4 rebounds. So Chuma is a guy that could surprise some people, really coming out of nowhere in terms of the NBA. All the college fans, y'all remember that Auburn run, Final Four a couple of years ago where he tore his ACL, I believe against, was it North Carolina? Can't remember exactly who it was against, but he tore his ACL, missed the rest of the tournament. Could have beaten Virginia if he didn't. Definitely a chance. But yeah, Chuma is a guy that has a chance to be big time for this Magic team. Now, looking at the salary cap table for the Orlando Magic, not as much dead cap as you would think for a team that just traded away basically everybody on the roster. Otto Porter, his $29 million deal is set to hit the open market. So they will have about, as I mentioned, $9 million, $8 million to spend. Gary Harris, his contract comes to an end at the end of next year, so that's $20 million more off the books. Terrence Ross on a pretty good contract, only about $12.5 million next year, and then $11.5 million the year after that. Markelle Fultz, he's only making about $16 million for the next couple of years. Jonathan Isaac, he's making about $17 million. So they've already locked up a few guys that they'll need Chuma Okeke and Cole Anthony under team control until 2024, as well as R.J. Hampton. And then they will need to bring back Dwayne Bacon after next year if they want to keep him around. Mo Bamba, he's on the team for him, and Wendell Carter are signed through next year. They've got a team option actually coming up on Wendell Carter, which I assume they will accept. Looking at their draft choices, so they did not luck up. They actually fell a little bit, 5 and 8 though. That's two really good players that you could get. That can help you build your roster long term. I'm sure the Bulls are really hating right now that they can't get a top 8 player in this year's draft. But Cade, Evan Mobley, and I'm assuming Jalen Green are all off the board for the Orlando Magic. I know Magic fans really wanted Jalen Green. It's not going to happen for them as they fall to number 5, as I mentioned. Jalen Suggs. Now, he could fall to number 5, but I do think the Raptors are going to scoop him up at 4. So this leads us to Jonathan Kuminga, who I think is going to be the pick for the Magic. All kinds of potential, already a good defender, can score in the mid-range. 3-ball needs a little bit of work, but he can be definitely polished. One of the guys with the most upside in this draft. Keon Johnson, 3-and-D. Davion Mitchell, 3-and-D. Moses Moody, 3-and-D. I'd say you probably stay away from Mitchell as he is older. Keon Johnson and Moses Moody, both really, really young. So you can probably scoop them up as they fit your timetable more at pick 8. Another guy you could pick up is maybe Franz Wagner at 8. But yeah, those are some very good choices. Also, Book Knight, didn't put him in here, but he's another one you could pick up at 8. So this is a very, very bright future for this Magic team. With that being said, though, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video at any point. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back later.